Hi and welcome. My name is Desiree Stafford and I am super excited to be presenting this masterclass for you here today. We're going to talk about how to attract a steady flow of high-ticket clients online and double your income and impact with simplicity and ease. So essentially, I'm going to show you how to make a lot more money with a lot less effort, right? So this is going to allow you to have the freedom that you truly desire. So the time freedom to spend with your family, right? To live a life as big as your purpose, to deliver a bigger impact to your clients without the overwhelm, without the burnout, without the stress, right? So if that's something that you desire for yourself, you're gonna love what I have to share with you here today. So I'm gonna be sharing with you how clients like this went from charging $3.50 an hour to celebrating her first 10K sale. She did $17,000 in a 2-week period of time, much more than she would normally make over a span of a few months, all right? And this is an intuitive, so I want you to understand that the people that I'm gonna be sharing the results of are not necessarily business coaches, right? So often we believe that in order to command higher ticket fees, you have to be a business coach or you have to help people with their career or to make more money. And I'm gonna show you here today that that's not the truth, right? You can command high ticket fees provided that you are providing transformational services. And we'll talk more about that as we go through this training. You're also gonna see how clients like this went from charging $2,800 for 12 weeks or a 90-day engagement to $7,500. This client made over $50,000 in the 90 days that she worked with me. This client celebrated a $60,000 day, and she's a relationship coach, all right? This client, another intuitive, celebrated a $9,000 morning, which turned into a $30,000 day. And so this client went from really having those up and down money months to being able to command a significant amount of money with a lot less effort. So again, I'm going to teach you how my clients are doing this in this video. But enough about my clients at the moment. I really want to bring this back home to you. I want to know what's your desired revenue goal for the next 30 days. All right. So if you could make as much as you wanted to make to live a life as big as your purpose, what would that monthly amount look like for you? Is it 10K a month? Is it 30K? Is it 50K? Is it 100K or more per month? Whatever that number is, it's your number, right? But I want you to have that in the back of your mind as we're going through this training as to how it's possible for you to get there, right? So now I want to ask you, how much have you made within the last 30 days? What's your current monthly revenue? This is going to tell you where the gap is. Right? So let's say you want to do 50K a month and right now you're doing 30, the gap is 20, all right? This is just data, it's feedback. So what I want you to do with this data is I want you to apply what I'm going to share with you here today so that you can close that gap, right? And you can do it Ferrari fast with ease and grace, all right? So what I'm going to do with you here today is share with you the 3 shifts that are going to allow you to close that gap. The 3 shifts that are going to take you from where you are now to where you know that you should be by now. All right. So let's get right into the training. So the first shift is for you to shift from just giving value to you being valuable. And so what I'm really talking about here is you owning your value. This is important. So often as coaches and mentors, we go into the marketplace knowing intellectually that we have value to provide to our clients, but we sometimes forget that we ourselves are actually valuable. And therefore we put ourselves in compromising situations, if you will. One of my former mentors famously said that you don't just have a gift, you are a gift. In other words, you really want to start treating yourself like you are valuable, not just a commodity. All right, so here's how to know where you are when it comes to owning your value. In other words, here's how to know if you're actually owning your value or if you could use some improvement in this area. So if right now you're not fully owning your value, you might be working with few clients who can actually receive the benefit from what you have to offer. In other words, clients who can't necessarily pick up what you're putting down, right? So you feel like you have to work harder just to help them get an ROI in your programs, right? If you're not fully owning your value, you're likely undercharging. So you have a desire to charge X amount of dollars, whether it's 5K or 10K or 30K or 50K or 100K, right, for an engagement with you, but you're undercharging, right? So you have a desire for more, but you're not giving yourself permission to charge more, right? You're probably overwhelmed with client delivery. So even if you have group programs right now, it still feels overwhelming when it comes to doing the delivery aspect of your business, right? So this is another indication that you're not fully owning your value. Another indication is if you struggle with feeling not enough, right? Or the fear of being found out. So let's say you want to work with a higher level client, and yet you're afraid that if you do, they're going to find out that you don't really know what you're talking about, right? You know, it's an irrational fear, but it's a fear nonetheless. So I would imagine this is not what you want. So let's talk about what happens when you are fully owning your value, right? This is what gets to happen for you. Clients are fun and easy to work with, right? So these are the kind of clients who understand how you explain things, right? They can take the ball and run with it. They implement, they get bigger results with less effort on your part. So what does that mean? That means that you get to celebrate more renewals and referrals, right? And grow your business exponentially from that. You also command the fees that you know your work is worth, and you cut your hours in half while doing so. What I want you to understand is that, you know, I teach a model that's based on high ticket. And so often one of the concerns that people have is, well, if I'm charging more, then I'm going to have to work harder. And what I teach my clients to do is charge more and work less. All right. So I want you to understand that you can structure your programs in a way that deliver a powerful impact to your clients without having to cost you more time, right? You also, when you're fully owning your value, you play big in the marketplace, right? You play big in life. You show up fully as the real you, the you that you've been hiding from this whole time, right? You speak your truth unapologetically, no longer muting your voice, fearing confrontation, worrying about what other people are going to think of you, wanting to be liked, approved, validated, any of that stuff, okay? So let's talk about how to make this your reality, how to make it a thing that you are fully owning your value. It literally will change your life, all right? Even down to the amount of money you allow yourself to receive month after month. So let's get into it. So when you're fully owning your value, this is what needs to happen in order to make that your reality. Number one, you have to identify who your high value clients are. Who are the people who are going to get the most benefit from working with you with the least amount of effort on your part, all right? So you want to identify who those people are. You probably have a sense of who they are, but now it's time to start making a decision about who those folks are, all right? The second thing that you need is a high profit, low stress business model. So again, I teach my people how to run a high ticket business, right? So a business that's based on high ticket, high impact, low stress, and overwhelm, right? So zero possibility of burnout. And so the way that we typically design my clients' business models is typically by having 2 offers. You do not need 6 or a dozen offers. You don't want to be all things to all people, right? You want to be the coach or mentor to your people, right? To your high value clients. So typically you want to have 2 offers. One that, number one, provides some quick wins for your clients and also provides you with some upfront cash flow. And then you want to have an offer that allows you to experience monthly recurring revenue, right? So you're not starting over at 0 every month. So that takes away that scarcity and that feeling of lack sometimes we can feel when, you know, if you don't know where that next sale is going to come from, which we're going to talk about how to solve that problem as we go through this video. But it just takes away the fear that so many coaches are experiencing. And I've seen people experience this fear even when they're well into the multiple 6 figures, right? Because they don't have the business model set up correctly. Or in a way, let me rephrase, in a way that actually supports you. All right, so you can have your business model set up any way that you want, but oftentimes a coach will have their business model set up in a way where the business is running them rather than the business supporting them. Make sense? And so your second offer is really an offer, again, that provides you with monthly recurring revenue and also provides your clients with the long-lasting support that they need to experience the true transformation that's possible. All right? And so the third aspect here is you have to elevate your state of being. This is what I call having a high value mindset. This is what's going to allow you to really show up as yourself in the marketplace. This is what's going to allow you to put yourself at the top of your own list, you know, to stop hiding behind that nice girl or nice guy BS and really show up powerfully as the leader that you're meant to be, as the badass boss that you are meant to be, right? But this requires you to elevate your state of being. And what I mean by this is that your thoughts and your feelings have to be in alignment. They have to become congruent in order for you to allow yourself to receive at the higher level that you desire. So to receive the higher fees that you desire, to receive the higher monthly revenue and income that you desire. All right? Because there are so often I've seen coaches make a huge amount of money and then they come crashing back down, or they just feel like they're banging their head against 5K or 20K or even 50K a month, and they can't figure out how to break through. All of that's related to your state of being, all right? Your identity, if you will. It's about you elevating your identity and having a high value mindset, all right? So how is this different than how you've currently been doing things? So based on what I just shared with you, when it comes to really owning your value, how is this different than how you've been currently doing things? Okay. Now I want you to see what success in action looks like. I want you to meet Janelle. Janelle is a relationship coach and healer. And, you know, she came to me because she was very frustrated with her business. She has been in business for many years. She's had celebrity clients. She's written a best-selling book that had celebrity endorsements. She's done PR. She did all the ads and the webinars and this and that. And her biggest challenge was that she wasn't attracting the level of clients that she wanted to work with consistently, right? And so she was hovering at around $5,000 a month, which for her level of experience and her expertise and her gifts was really not a match. Right? For the massive value that she was delivering to her clients, it just was not a match. And so when she worked on owning her value in the ways that I just shared with you, she went from $5,000 a month to $62,000 in 30 days. And she did it without the ads, without the webinars, without the PR, right? That's what's possible. And so she created overflow to fund savings in retirement. She was also traveling quite a bit before everything went crazy in the world. Right? So I want you to think about this for yourself. How would owning your value transform your business and your life for that matter? Right? So let's talk about the next shift. And this is a shift from being just another coach to the coach in your niche. This, in other words, is about you becoming in demand, right? You standing out of the crowd. And why is this important? There are so many relationship coaches, mindset coaches, transformational coaches, leadership coaches, performance coaches, confidence coaches, executive coaches, soul coaches, energy coaches, right? No matter what it is that you call yourself, I can guarantee you there are multiples of people in your niche. And so the question becomes, with so many people already in your niche and then so many new people coming into the marketplace, how do you differentiate yourself? How do you stand out? And how do you really become in demand? And that's what we're going to talk about. So if you're not currently in demand in your niche, you're not the sought after coach, this is what it might feel like for you, right? You might feel like what I call a likable educator. So your content gets likes, it gets comments even, perhaps even love, right? But it doesn't translate into sales consistently. Maybe lead gen for you feels like a huge time suck. Perhaps you are sending a lot of direct outreach messages, right? And you're creating all these opt-ins. You're doing all the things you could think to do, even ad campaigns, right? And you're still not generating the level, well, let me say it this way. You're not generating the quantity and quality of leads that you desire for the amount of effort that you're putting in. This is a huge complaint clients have when they come to work with me, right? And then perhaps, I already alluded to this, the leads are often not qualified, right? So you're getting on the phone with people who are telling you that they are still interviewing 2 other coaches, or they ask you, well, so what is it that you do again? That kind of, unprepared, only interested but not actually committed. They don't show up knowing that you're their coach, right? And so that can create some frustration. So let's talk about what gets to happen when you are in demand, right? When you are the coach, the sought after expert in your space, all right? The first thing is that your marketing consistently delivers sales. So I find marketing to be extremely fun and easy because it's actually working. If your marketing right now isn't working, if you feel like it's getting ignored or it's getting attention, it's getting engagement, but it's not producing sales, of course, it's going to feel frustrating. It's going to feel hard, right? It's going to feel like a day job, only harder, right? And that's not what we want, right? You want to be able to create marketing that delivers sales so you have more time to spend serving your clients or living a life as big as your purpose, right? Rather than spending every waking moment of your day creating content. Another thing that gets to happen when you're in demand is that you can fill your pipeline with leads daily. That means every single day in 60 minutes or less, and you can do it for free. Listen, I don't have anything against paid ads. However, if you're not in demand through organic methods, ads aren't going to help you, right? Ads only amplify what's already working. And if right now your organic strategies are not working, ads are not going to be your savior, right? You've got to figure out how to start converting consistently through organic methods for you to actually see an ROI with your ad campaigns. I typically don't recommend that you start running ad campaigns unless you're already making at least $30,000 to $50,000 a month consistently. And the truth is, you don't need ads to hit 100K plus months, right? You don't need ads to run a 7-figure business. You don't need them, all right? I'm not saying that you don't want them, but you don't need them to get to the level of success that I believe that you desire, all right? So you can always add them on later. Leads are qualified. When you're in demand, you attract your people, right? The kind of people who are a joy for you to work with. So let's talk about how to make this your reality. There are 3 steps here. Number 1, you have to have a magnetic message. All right, this is a message that speaks to the hearts and minds of your people, right? This is a message that communicates very clearly who you are for and who you are not for, all right? The second thing is that you need to have what I call irresistible influence. This is a content marketing strategy that I teach my clients that doesn't require a lot of time, that really allows them to create the kind of content that moves people. So rather than just showing up in the marketplace and educating people, which is what so many coaches are really good at, they're really good at speaking to the minds of their people, but not so good at speaking to their heart. And you have to remember that people buy based on emotion and they justify with logic, right? So what I teach is irresistible influence that allows you to speak to the hearts and minds of your people, therefore really rendering your competition irrelevant because you become positioned as the coach, the expert for your people, right? And you do that through your marketing. This makes your sales process so much simpler and faster, all right? The third aspect of this is you have to have a lead gen system. So I teach a lead gen system that, again, can help you fill your pipeline with qualified leads every single day in less than 60 minutes a day. If you do what I'm sharing with you here, if you've got a really simple lead gen system that doesn't take a lot of time, you have a content marketing system through irresistible influence that, again, doesn't take a lot of time, right? If you think about it and you're running some group programs and you have them designed in a way where delivery doesn't require a lot of your time, you can literally take your business to multiple 6 or 7 figures working 15 to 20 hours a week. 15 to 20 hours a week. I know because I've done it. I know because my clients are doing it, right? That's what's possible. You can deliver a massive impact, make a significant amount of revenue, of profit, of income, and have plenty of time to spend with your kids, your husband, your wife, your friends, right? Take horseback riding lessons if you want to. That's what's available to you. I really want you to understand the concept that making more doesn't have to require more of your time, more effort, because it doesn't, unless you believe that it has to. And if that's what you choose to believe, I won't be able to help you, right? So let's move on. I want you to think about this. What do you need to change for you to become in demand? Based on what I just shared with you, what do you know that you need to change so that you become in demand? All right, now I want to show you success in action. I want you to meet Hind. Hind is a success coach. And when she came to me, she was frustrated because she was stuck at $2,500 a month. She literally said to me that she was beyond frustrated with working too hard for too little. There were times when she'd be working upwards of 10 hours a day to produce $2,500 a month. And this is not to knock anyone where you might be right now. It is just to go to show you that by really becoming in demand, which is what we did with Hind, she went from $2,500 a month to $58,000 in 6 weeks. And she did that, and I quote, while feeling more joyful and working less. She significantly cut her hours. She now makes multiple six figures. And this is my favorite part of her story. She gets to model success with ease for her kids. I don't know about you, but I grew up believing that success required struggle. And it took a while for me to undo that learning, undo that conditioning. And I'm now able to share that with my clients, right? And what I love is that now Hind's able to model that for her children. I mean, she's breaking a generational cycle of struggle. What kind of legacy is that? Like, that's powerful, isn't it? Right? So I want you to think about for yourself. How would becoming the coach in your niche change your life? One of the things I forgot to mention about Hind's story is that she became so in demand that she was closing 10 and 12K deals over private messenger. So she was not even getting on the phone with people anymore. Like, this is what's possible for you. Right? Now, if you enjoy the sales process like I do, I'm going to teach you in just a moment how you can close more sales in one phone call. But just think about what's actually possible for you. Right? Okay, so now let's talk about the third shift, which is the shift from convincing to choosing. All right, so this is really about you knowing how to close more sales. When I teach my clients this process, they literally triple their closing ratio, all right, which means they triple their businesses, right, simply by closing more of the people that they're already talking to. So imagine how much faster and easier it's going to be for you to grow your business when you get this. Right, so I teach my clients what I call a one-call close formula. And we're going to go through that here in just a moment. Now, here's what happens when you don't know how to do this, right? When you feel like you are trying to convince people to work with you and then dragging them through your programs, rather than you choosing the best possible clients to work with you, rather than you signing only the folks that you know will be your next testimonial. All right, so here's what it looks like right now if you're showing up more as the convincer, which is what most coaches, I would say probably 95% of coaches are doing, right? They're showing up to their sales calls feeling like they have to convince people to work with them. It doesn't feel good to you, right? It also doesn't feel good to your prospect. So this is what might be happening if you're showing up as a convincer. You feel like you're wasting countless hours on the phone with prospects who can't afford you. Right? They just cannot figure it out how to afford you. They're not resourceful at all, right? Perhaps prospects give you excuses. So they give you some kind of stall. I need to think about it. I need to speak with my husband, my dog, or my angels before I make a decision. And then you reach out to them a couple days later and they either ghost you, so they don't respond at all, or they tell you that they hired one of your competitors. And the worst part of all is that if they're meant to work with you, then they're going to get inferior service by default from one of your competitors, right? So they're actually being underserved. The third situation you might experience is that prospects say yes while you're on the call and then they disappear when it's time to pay the deposit or sign the contract, okay? So that doesn't feel good, now does it? Right, so let's talk about what gets to happen when you do know how to close on the spot, when you're showing up as the chooser. When you're showing up in your power and your leadership, right? So you only invest time on the phone with prospects who can afford you no matter the fee, right? So whether you want to charge 5K, 10K, 30K, 50K, 100K, whatever K, the people who get on the phone with you are prospects who actually can afford you, all right? The second is that prospects show up knowing that you are the coach for them. There's none of this second guessing. Again, I'm interviewing other people. I'm not sure what you do. All these gyrations. They know that you're their coach. Clients say yes and they pay on the spot. Whether that's a deposit, whether it's a pay in full, right? I've got clients closing 10K and 30K plus deals in full on one phone call, no follow-up, all right? And the reason for that, I'll just tell you really quickly, the reason for that is that so many of my clients have been taught to not get a decision on the call. They've been taught to follow up with their prospect, and remember what typically happens. They typically don't close, right? And so I just never got into that deal. And so when I teach my clients how to just get the yes on the spot, right, and then collect the cash on the spot and then get their client started right away, they, again, have tripled their closing ratios. The clients step in excited, they're ready to go. So isn't that what you want, right? Rather than feeling like you are expending a lot of energy worrying about whether or not the sale is going to close if you follow up in a few days. Why not just deal with it right on the call, right? So much easier and so much more fun for you and for your prospect. I could spend all day talking about this, but just know that while it's in service to you to get paid on the spot, it's also in service to your prospect. All right, so let's talk about how to make this your reality. Number one, you need to have a velvet rope around your business, right? So this is about you making sure that you're only getting on the phone with the right people. So you want to have a velvet rope around your business. It can look different for different people. You know, it goes beyond the application, put it that way, all right? Number two, you want to make sure that you're qualifying people when they get on the phone with you. So rather than trying to sell people, which is what your marketing should have done, when someone gets on the phone with you, your job is to qualify. It's to diagnose what the actual problem is, because the prospect is going to come to you with symptoms, right? You want to diagnose what's actually going on for them, and you want to assess, do you actually want to support them? Are they going to be fun and easy for you to work with? Are they going to be your next testimonial? That's what you should be doing on your calls. You shouldn't be selling anybody on anything, right? And if you do this right, guess what actually happens? Prospects sell themselves, right? The third aspect of this is to actually close the sale. So this is about when objections come up. What do you do? How do you support your client in choosing to invest in themselves through you rather than staying stuck in their fears? That's what this part is about. When you get this right, your closing ratio can shoot up to 70, 80, 90+%. And keep in mind, industry standard is around 20%. All right? So my clients close a significantly larger percentage of the people that they talk to. And it's because they follow what I just shared with you here. All right? So I want you to think about this for yourself. Which of these three things would help you close more sales in one phone call? Which of those three would help you close more sales in one phone call? All right? Now I want to share with you another case study. This is Whitney's success. Whitney is a real estate coach, and she was stuck at $20,000 a month for almost a year. She was literally on the verge of burnout, all right, because she was struggling to close sales. So in fairness and in full transparency, not only did I teach her how to close more sales, but we also raised her fee, right? And we also worked on her marketing. So I want you to understand that all of this stuff that we've been talking about here today works together, all right? And when it all works together, this is what's possible. She went from $20,000 a month to $96,000 a month, all right? She's now less stressed, which makes her, in her words, a happier wife. And I would imagine that makes her husband happier too, right? So let's talk about you. How would tripling your closing ratio benefit you? Who else would it benefit, right? Now, I just want to share with you really quickly how everything I've just shared with you here literally changed my life. That's why I'm so passionate about these three shifts, because very few people are talking about them, and no one's talking about them in the way that I've been talking about them here today. And it can transform the trajectory of your business if you allow it to. And here's how I know. Before I learned these three shifts, I worked really hard, but I could not grow my business. I would either experience up and down money months, sometimes my income would be stuck, and quite frankly, sometimes I would go through these disastrous dry spells that I couldn't figure out for the life of me, because before I became an online coach, I had both a 6 and multiple seven-figure business. So for me to not see those results within the first couple of months or years blew my fucking mind. It just was unfathomable to me that I could be flailing for as long as I did. And so I tried everything that you probably tried, right? So I tried the courses, the different lead gen courses, and the paid ads, and the funnels, and the mentors, yet my leads were inconsistent and sales were slow, right? And so I remember just constantly asking myself, well, I don't get this. If I'm so smart, how come I haven't figured this out yet? And it finally occurred to me that, wait a minute, being smart isn't about knowing all the answers. It's impossible to know all of the answers. Being smart is about knowing when to ask for help. And so the turning point came for me 3 years ago. I was home visiting my family for the holidays. And I remember telling myself that I was just going to spend a few minutes working on my umpteenth funnel. And those few minutes turned into a few hours. And I got to a point where I was exhausted. And I remember just taking a moment to breathe. And in that moment, I could hear my family laughing and celebrating the holiday without me. My heart just dropped. Because here I was, while in the same house with them, I wasn't present. And I was missing out on those memory-making moments. And it was in that moment that I decided something needed to change. Because if it didn't, I could only imagine that I'd be in the same situation the next holiday or the next holiday or the next holiday. You know, like, when was it ever going to change? When was I ever going to break out of that cycle? And so I made the decision that day to hire a new mentor to help me uncover my blind spots, to help me figure out what I couldn't see, because I had everything I needed to have, but yet something was still missing and I couldn't figure it out, right? So I hired a mentor who also served as a coach. And I truly believe that we often need mentors and coaches, or someone who can serve in the capacity of both, as I do, right? Someone who can not only show you what to do and what to implement, but someone who can also coach you through it, right? So that you can actually get the results that you're looking for, to give you the clarity that you need, to hold you accountable. And that's what I allowed myself to receive. And in doing so, I discovered these 3 shifts. And I went from $25,000 a month to $133,000 in a 2-week period of time. I did it without the ads, without the complex funnels, without all the stuff that we often think that we need. So in other words, I removed the complexity and I allowed it to be easy, if you can imagine that. I allowed it to be simple, and it became so much fucking fun. I don't have the words to describe to you. This is the photo of me and 2 of my 4 young nephews, right? Growing my business right now, it's amazing to me that I get to grow it. It's simple, it's easy, and I have the freedom. Not just the time freedom to spend with my family and to have so much fun with them as they're growing up, but I also have the mental and emotional freedom that I was really craving. And so if all of this is possible for me, and I've shown you also how it's been possible for my clients, I wonder, can you imagine what's possible for you, right? So I want you to get that what I've shared with you so far is just a glimpse of what's possible. I've shared with you a high-level overview. And so my question is, would you like to figure out everything that I've shared with you on your own, or would you like my help to get results faster and easier? If you'd like my help, this is the next step you can take. You can sign up for a Freedom Accelerator breakthrough session, all right? This is for you if you want some support with sorting out what's working and what's not working. You want help identifying what's actually holding you back. And you want me to help you map out a customized plan to take you from where you are now to where you know that you should be by now. This is not for you if you're not good at what you do, right? If you don't know that you can provide results for your clients, this is not for you. If you think you know all the answers and you like to argue for your limitations, this is not for you. If you couldn't tell by now, I am someone who will argue for what's possible for you and help you make it probable. So many of the clients that you've seen here today came to me wanting to achieve much smaller goals, which we blew right out of the water. because I can see what's possible for you. I know that whatever goal that you decided that you wanted to be bringing in on a monthly basis, I already know that that should be your floor, not your ceiling, right? So if you are interested but not committed to breaking through to your next level, again, this is not going to be for you, all right? However, if you know that your work changes lives, you're open and you're coachable, you're willing to share with me what's actually going on in your situation, and you're coachable, you're willing to implement what I share with you if it makes sense, and you are courageous and committed enough to invest the time and money in yourself to make the level of income and impact that you know that you're capable of, we should be having a conversation, right? So if you feel called, this is what to do next. Go to www.powerhouseonfire.com/apply. That's going to take you to an application page. You're going to fill out a few questions. I'm going to review it. And if I believe I can help you, we'll hop on a call, right? If I don't think that I can help you, I'll let you know that, and I'll point you in the direction of resources I think would be a better fit for you based on where you are now. I hope you got the value that you came here to get. And until we speak, I hope that you and your family stay safe.